Were you ever in a relationship where it felt like you kept being led on? Like nothing ever came to fruition. You actually never got together. You never saw the person. You never went out or whatever it might be. But it seemed like there was tiny little pieces of like, oh, possibly, and then nothing ever happened. Or you might have been a victim in or out of a relationship of someone using breadcrumbing, a tactic to be able to keep spreading that out so that you keep trying and you keep being interested, but nothing ever comes about of it. A lot of times we see this with toxic people, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, anybody that has an abusive nature that wants to control another person. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do it on all the different platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, to try to be able to help spread awareness. So if you haven't had a chance, like, share any of the stuff under Raw Motivations under all those platforms. You never know. You might share something with a friend of yours that's going through something that might save their life, that might help them get free from a toxic relationship. If you want to work with me one-on-one, would love to interact with you and help you break free of the trauma bond, help you to rewire your mindset to be able to break free from that and get through the limbo land that oftentimes is the feeling of like, hey, I've gotten away from the narcissist, but I don't really feel peace. Like I'm still struggling with rumination. I'm still wondering, am I the narcissist? Am I the toxic one? Could I have done something different? What should I have done? All those things that plague you a lot of times is what we try to help people work through, and to get to the place where they're setting up healthy boundaries moving forward so they don't get with someone toxic down the road and they don't go back to someone toxic either. So I'd love to be able to help you along that journey. Just go to rawmotivations.com, click on one-on-ones. If you want to hear from the wife's perspective, check out our new podcast called Trauma, Drama, and Life. You can get on Apple Podcasts. We'd love to interact with you there or have you phone in some different ideas of what you want us to talk about. Other thing I'll show you real quick is From Fantasy to Reality. It's a journal that we recently put out. It is on Amazon, or the links is in the bio. We've got over 100 prompts in here, so you're not just journaling with a bunch of blank pages. You can actually be like, wait a second, let me go in and be, how can I show and demonstrate kindness to myself today? You know, how can I go through different aspects, deconstructing stuff that I've thought about, or deconstructing stuff that I don't really think about on a day-to-day basis. Did your relationship reveal some toxic traits in yourself that you'd like to change? If so, what are they? Like different things like that to try to help prompt you of some questions that you might not normally think about on a day-to-day basis. Last off, if you haven't had a chance to be able to see the NARC app, go to narcapp.com. It stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. Community of like-minded people to help you heal, grow, and change, give advice, give encouragement, take courses, track your no contact, record in the journal that's in there, and also log in for weekly lives and monthly coaching calls where we bring in guests from all across the globe to help you heal, grow, and change. That's narcapp.com, narcapp.com. Check it out there. All right, so when we're talking about breadcrumbing, the idea behind breadcrumbing is spreading out tiny little pieces to be able to get your attention, affection, or interest, and to keep you interested long term. The thing with breadcrumbing is it's like the idea, it comes from the aspect of someone literally dropping crumbs of bread and having, a mouse follow it or whatever it might be. But it's like, hey, I'm going to lead you in a certain area. I'm going to lead you on. I'm going to keep leading you forward, thinking that you'll think that maybe this person's interested, maybe I can be with this person, when the other person doesn't really have any intention of that. They're just enjoying the game of letting you follow them. When we talk about leading you on, in narcissistic world, we talk a lot of times about love bombing and future faking. Like, let me lead you on with an overt show of affection, or, a bunch of gifts that are confusing you and distracting you from the problem at hand. Or let me lead you on typically is known as the idea of like future faking. Let me get to the place where I'm saying, hey, but I'm going to change. I'm going to stop talking mean. I'm going to stop raging. I'm going to work on my sarcasm. There's all these things that happen of like, hey, this is going to happen. We're going to go on that vacation. We're going to get that house. We're going to buy your car. All those different things happen leading you on, but there's no intention to actually have it come to fruition. So when we're talking about narcissists and breadcrumbing, the idea is like, I want to give you a tiny bit to make you want more, because I want you to continue to come and chase after me. What it does is it produces a false sense of worth for the narcissist. Stay with me. The idea would be, hey, I'm giving you a little bit of affection, and as a result, I pull back and you chase after me. In the narcissist's head, how it gets twisted is like, look, someone likes me so much that they're chasing after me. Nevertheless, that I'm breadcrumbing, I'm leaving stuff to make them chase after me. I'm just looking at the fact that, wow, I'm an awesome catch because they're chasing after me. That's the thought process. So when you break it down, it produces a false sense of worth of like, hey, I'm a better person, I'm amazing, all this kind of stuff. Produces a false sense of worth by having another person chase the narcissist. That's the thought process. And I know it probably sounds weird, but that's how it gets twisted in the mind of like, let me do this. And like, oh my gosh, they're chasing after me. You know, when we talk about it, it becomes really confusing because of cognitive dissonance. Of like, wait a second, their actions and their words don't really match. Like they're saying, I want to spend time with you. I can't wait to hang out. They're dropping all these flirty texts and things like that of like, wait, let's get together, and nothing happens. You see, a lot of times someone who's breadcrumbing will have cognitive dissonance, will show you cognitive dissonance by their actions and their words won't match. They'll say one thing, but they really won't show up. A lot of times when we're talking about breadcrumbing as far as communication, they'll be really inconsistent with how they reply, with if they reply. Or you might reply and be expected to reply every 30 seconds, and they can reply 5 hours later. It doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it's all about their convenience and your submission to that. It doesn't really matter what you think they should be doing. They'll respond to you when they feel like it's convenient. Sometimes people see this particularly of the idea of like, hey, I want to go out. I want to go on a date. I want to go do something instead of just be here or be controlled by that. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. But then they never plan anything. There's no action. It's all that future fake idea. Maybe like the idea of like not having any follow through. They'll leave you waiting of like, hey, I'm going to go do this. Let's meet up here. And then they never show up. I mean, they ghost you. They stonewall you. They give you the silent treatment. A lot of times you'll have things that be like, maybe, and then it's gone. Sometimes you'll see them actually follow through with their plans. And a lot of times those follow through the plans has a quick payout at the end. Maybe those quick plans they set up is, hey, just a solicitation to be able to get you in bed and to be able to have sex with you. Okay? A lot of times when they're breadcrumbing, they're not going to give out a ton of details about themselves. So it might be like the idea of like, hey, I want to know about you. And then you want to ask about them and they kind of pull back. They're like, okay, yeah, ask about me. Ask about me. And they keep pulling back away from you. You keep trying to get more information and they keep leading you on. The thing you have to remember with narcissists and dealing with breadcrumbing is you have to be able to see in the conversation, they're more interested in themselves and not in you. And not in anyone else, okay? Also, breadcrumbing, while you're chasing after them, you try to express your emotions. They're like, yeah, that's ridiculous, but okay, bye. And they'll keep trying to have you continue forward. Okay, so when we're talking about, there's a lot of different, like, for instances about breadcrumbing. But when we're talking about dealing with it, you have to remember that if you're dealing with a narcissist, it's not about you, it's about their ego. I think if anybody got anything out of this video, just understand that if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It all has to do about them. Every single thing, every single scenario has to do about them, not about you. They might blame you, they might push it back on you, they might say it to you. It's not about you. It's all about them. It's all about their mask. It's all about their image, their ego, anything like that. So understand first off that being with a narcissist, it's all ego-based. It's all towards them. It's not about you. You don't factor into that relationship because it's a relationship just out of convenience. And second thing is the idea of knowing your worth, knowing your value. A lot of times when someone's breadcrumb, they reduce their value to be so low that they accept tiny little pieces of affection, of respect, of love, and of honesty that are so tiny they're really not at all. They're not existent. But it feels like, oh my gosh, that person just looked at me. They just took time today. We just did this. And you realize over a period of time, it's all made up of these tiny little moments, but no consistency moving forward. Another thing is you need to set up clear and consistent boundaries. Boundaries are for you. They're not for the other person. They're for you to understand how to walk forward in life and not take a bunch of crap from everybody else. Understanding your value, your worth, and the direction you're going is essential for establishing clear boundaries so that you don't go back to someone that is narcissistic and that so you don't continue forward with someone who's breadcrumbing you. And the thing you have to understand is it's a hard decision either way, to be with a narcissist or not be with a narcissist. The idea is you have to choose your heart. You have to choose what is actually worth it, because it'll be hard to stay, it'll be hard to leave. But the more you learn about it, the more you understand breadcrumbing, pieces, all these different types of things that we talk about on this channel, you start to get a better idea of what red flags are, what they look like, what's actually going on, and it helps protect you moving forward of getting duped by a narcissist, by a toxic person that's trying to lead you on. So if you have any idea that you're getting breadcrumbs, start to think through, it's not about you, it's all about the narcissist ego. You need to understand and know your worth, establish clear and consistent boundaries, and choose which direction you want to go. Either way, it's going to be difficult, but you need to understand, first off, you're not crazy, you're not alone, you're not hopeless. Reach out for help.